All right, hey, what's up, guys? Scott here, and I just got back from Lead Gen World in Denver, and I wanted to just do kind of a quick little video on third-party leads. It was kind of the term that was used the most from the speakers on stage and a lot of the guys that were kind of floating around on meetings and everything else. But if you're watching this, you probably already have a ListFlex account. If you don't, obviously this is still going to apply to you and make sense if you're in any way, shape, or form getting leads from third parties for for any reason. One of the main reasons I'm doing this is because of the issues that companies continually have with third-party vendors. So this video is going to go over a little bit about philosophy and how ListFlex is going to solve a lot of the problems that come with buying or acquiring or getting or rev sharing third-party data. All right, so as you can see, this is the dashboard. If you've seen any of my tutorials, I'm going to skip over most of this, but here are the different lists, how many leads have come in, how many today. The red would be any leads that are rejected, and then who provided you those leads. So if you're getting them from a third party, you can see the name of the list. You can see the name of the name of the person or the company. You can put notes as the list name so that you can you have kind of a bird's eye view. But for example, let's just we'll click on that one as as the one that we want to kind of review. So the philosophy in buying third-party leads is that you always want to have a lead that only matches the criteria or the filters or the rules that you set in place. So most guys that buy data have a couple things in place. Maybe they'll have one validation company in place, or maybe they'll have their programmers write a rule to dedupe, and then some time frames and some other random things. When you create a list in ListFlex and you're buying data, you're probably going to want to tighten things down a little bit. So I'm going to go through all of these right now. It's going to be a little bit longer than normal, but I just want you to understand how to look at creating the list when you're buying or you're sucking in third-party leads from from somebody else. So first things first, always be very, very descriptive in a list name. If you're paying a flat rate, if it's a specific domain, or anything that's just going to make it your life easier every day when you log in. Cost per lead. Are you buying these at a flat rate? If you are, there's a full-blown accounting system in here. It's very important that you attribute a value there. Vertical, custom fields. So any arbitrary custom fields that you might be bringing in with a lead that are outside of what I call normal contact information, like name, address, phone, email, the basics, URL, IP, all that. And then rev share. So a ton of companies scoop up third-party data, and they are, going to split back revenue based on the, as a rev share on how much money they've created. So then you have how to sell rules. So the basic rules are, if the lead's accepted, how many times is allowed to go out or be sold. And then for a lot of the companies, especially at Lead Gen World, there are a lot of mortgage, a lot of refi, some of the more sensitive industries, solar, where you'll want the lead to go to one company and then be locked, or not be allowed to go anywhere else, for a predetermined amount of time. You can do it 4 days a week or whatever. But after that time frame's up, okay, then the lead can be released again if you set up a client. Sales reps and refers, this is just internal tracking. Someone refers you business. All right, so scrubs, third-party leads. Whether you're rev sharing them or whether you're buying them, either way, I mentioned it, you want to tighten down a little bit. And the reason you want to tighten down is because you don't want to buy a lead that's not good. And if you're rev sharing data, you're gonna accept fewer leads because they pass fewer filters. So when you actually provide the return value back to your, to the original vendor, your return per lead will be higher. They'll be happier, and so will you. So a simple scrub, this is your internal master suppression file. A lead scrub is mine. You've probably seen this in other tutorials. Level 1's a spam trap lookup. Level 2 and level 3 are a basic email validation and a basic phone check for validation. Level 3 is an extensive email validation that covers a wide range of items and an internal algorithm that we've created to scoop up and look for anything that might be bad. TCPA scrub, this is where you get to just double check that the lead you're bringing in isn't a known threat, isn't a known problem, isn't in the database of people that have filed lawsuits or phone numbers related to those individuals. If you want to validate addresses, you can. We have domains where if you've got a predetermined set of domains that you know are litigators or problems, you can build that list inside of ListFlex and just check it to make sure you scrub against that and that no leads come in from there. You can geo-complete your leads. You can block leads with bad words. You can gender complete them. You can do some internal appending. This is kind of a free feature where you can use data that you've already brought in and have it help build the profiles of the new leads that you're acquiring. There's also third-party appending where you can pay to have additional information added to your lead. And then dedupe. This is really, really big. So if it's your own offer and you're paying for traffic and you're paying per lead, you're going to be loose on this, right? But if you're buying third-party data and you're scooping up leads from somebody else, if you've gotten that lead before, you may have already paid for it. You may have already gotten it from somebody else. Whatever the case is, it's highly unlikely that you're going to want the lead again. So what I typically recommend is that you set up your rules here to be, like I said, kind of tightened down a little bit. So if you're buying, if this list is someone that you're buying from, have it just check the entire database in 60 days or 90 so that you're not getting the same lead. Now, totally different tutorial, but we can prevent duplicates on the client side as well, okay? But when you're bringing in third-party data, you want to run, kind of a bulkier dedupe so that, you have less coming in and, it's unique records. You can require which fields you're accepting. You can require that the leads are coming in from certain countries. List type is how the leads leave the system. And then redirect after, that is a scenario where you can redirect to a success or a failed domain if the lead is a success or fail based on all of the rules that you just went through. So kind of a lot that we covered there. The one thing that I do talk to a lot of guys about is creating a custom field and having it be for publisher ID or sub IDs that every lead gets tagged with. Because what's going to happen is your leads are going to come in, they're going to go through these, 10, 15, 20 checks, and you're going to be able to see and analyze and download all of the successes and all of the fails and why they failed. If it's a level 3 email validation, if it's a level 2 phone validation, if it's wrong country, if it's something crazy. We break it down for you. You can download them, and then you can communicate back to your vendor the problem leads. So again, at Lead Gen World, third-party data is still, in my opinion, kind of the king. Guys, partnering with high-volume marketers to get the leads, and we solve a lot of the filtering problems. All of these checks, all of these filters, they all happen in under a second. So some people do run us on their forms, but you have the ability to go out and grab data from one company or 2 or 3 or 10 or whatever the case is. You'll see all of your lists right here, and you'll see what company is providing you that lead. You'll see leads that are rejected and why are they rejected, how many leads are in there. You can go in and manipulate these rules on at any given time. So with that, if you're buying third-party data or you're rev sharing third-party data with anyone, I would highly recommend that you have all of these filters and all of these checks, as part of your initial process, because it's going to save you a ton of money, a ton of headache, and potentially, legal ramifications if you, if you use the suppression files or the TCPA filter when you're scooping up leads. So with that, have a great day, guys. If you have any questions on any of this, just reach out to our team. Thanks.